that there's much to be done in relation to preventing and mitigating issues relating to disorderly crime, issues related to crime in certain stressed communities, and your particular intervention here, sir, in us being able to deliver the promise of the new PPPC government for the provision of these vehicles.
Thank you, Minister of Home Affairs. To the police band, MS. Taking over the leadership position of the Guyana Police Force from Mr. Leslie James, ESM, retired Commissioner of Police, in July of 2020. It's a young man that we have all become familiar with. He's known and outside of the force. He's worked in many areas in the Guyana Police Force, including Finance Department, Special Branch 4A, which was then A Division, and many other posts that I wouldn't want to list out here to occupy your time. The individual I was referring to is no other than Mr. Nigel Hoppy, DSM, Commissioner of Police Active. His task today is an important one to introduce our guest speaker. Commissioner of Police, may I invite you to do your introduction.
Thank you very much again, Mr. Master of Ceremonies. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm here once again, and I now have the distinguished honor and privilege of introducing our next speaker. His Excellency Dr. Mohammed Irfaan Ali was sworn in as Guyana's 9th Executive President on August the 2nd, 2020. President Ali holds a doctorate in urban and regional planning from the University of the West Indies, a Master of Arts degree in manpower planning, a postgraduate diploma in international business, a postgraduate certificate in finance from Lincoln Ruskin University, and a Bachelor of Arts degree with honors in business management from the University of Sunderland. He's the holder of a Master's in International Commercial Law, also from the University of Salford. President Ali is a former member of the Canadian Institute of Management and the Project Management Professional. In his early years, he served as a project manager of the Caribbean Development Bank's Implementation Unit in the Ministry of Finance and senior planner in the State Planning Secretariat. Dr. Ali became a member of the National Assembly in 2006. He was subsequently appointed to the portfolios of Minister of Housing and Water and Minister of Tourism, Industry and Commerce. His Excellency served as the chairman of the Public Accounts Committee and co-chair of the Economic Service Committee of Parliament of Guyana. May I take the opportunity, sir, to invite you to look at the feature there. Sir, and there you start.
Thank you very much. Please be seated. Commissioner, acting. Members of the Cabinet, former Commissioner, Deputy Commissioners, Assistant Commissioners, senior officers of the Guyana Police Force, members of the media, ladies and gentlemen, it gives me great honor and privilege to stand before you at this very significant but simple ceremony. The success of the Guyana Police Force depends heavily on a few things. One is to ensure we have the right physical asset to combat crime. Two is to ensure that we have the right human resources asset. And the human resource asset is not just numbers. It is quantity, quality. Thirdly is to ensure that we have the right partnership in crime fighting and strategizing. And in all three of these areas, we have been working to provide an enabling environment to make an investment that is critical for us to have a holistic approach to the development of the force. In addition to these, many of the men and women in the Guyana Police Force are enrolled in a Gold Scholarship program. Many of the senior officers are in their final stages of completing their studies in the field of law. Very soon, we'll be launching a number of programs in the field of forensic science, which will be financed by the government on a scholarship basis for the Guyana Police Force. Other important areas include specialized training in transnational crime, strategic management, mentoring and coaching. And importantly, we also have to build our in-house capacity to address technological challenges and opportunities that will come our way. In all of these areas, we are committed to ensuring that we make the necessary investment. More importantly, the private sector is embracing our strategy and has been supporting us in a meaningful way. I once again throw out a challenge the private sector to take up the opportunity of combining their resources in important sections of the city and other urbanized areas that are crime prone, to acquire the necessary assets that were supported by the Guyana Police Force to help in our efforts to fight crime. We've already said that the government is willing to support the granting of duty-free concessions for vehicles acquired in this effort. We've already secured 2 such vehicles. We have a commitment for another 8 such cars that will be placed mostly along new networks of roads stretching initially from Diamond to Golden Grove to Cane Grove, and on the west Demerara from Schoonard to Borica. Strategizing and expanding the Smart City program to a Smart Country program, so that we will have technological capability and support not only in the city, but all across in the country. We also understand that the nature of crime is changing, so to support our citizens, we have strategically decided that we also need assets in the water. We need to make better use of the Demerara River in fighting crime, the Borbis River in fighting crime, and the Essequibo River in fighting crime. So we are also going to invest in marine assets that will give us the capability of getting ahead of traffic in certain situations, creating a robust approach in crime fighting. All of this depends on a force that is nimble, a force that is united, a force that is focused, and a force that is professional. That is all we see. That is all we see. That force must also be capable of withstanding public scrutiny, of operating in a transparent and open manner, and doing things within the confines of the laws. Destroy the real and perceived conception and misconception. Misconception because sometimes it is generalized of the force out there. And I too know that the government has a responsibility to you. And I want to assure you that we are also going to continuously work on initiatives, look at your salary benefits, but also will look at your personal development, the welfare of your family, and importantly, supporting you in achieving essential necessities of life, like owning your own home, like ensuring you have access to the highest level of education, and ensuring your children are also taken care of. Even before my administration took office, the force deficiencies were identified in the security sector reform study of 2017. Among the deficiencies noted were chronic underfunding, shortages of vehicles, and the poor state of the vehicular fleet, the lack of adequate communication equipment, and poor maintenance of physical assets. In recognition of these and other deficiencies, we committed in our manifesto, among other things, to providing more equipment, facilities, and training, improving investigative and forensic capabilities, increasing the use of modern technology and intelligence in the fight against crime, including cybercrime, expanding intelligence gathering, and promoting more intelligence-led policing, providing better remuneration and conditions of service for members of the force, and enhancing security capabilities in the hinterland. The focus is heavily towards proactive policing. That is key. Proactive policing. In my inauguration address, I committed my administration to providing the police force with the resources it needs to keep our people safe. This task, I noted, would involve training, the provision of modern equipment and adequate vehicles, and strengthening the force capacity for rapid response. I echoed this commitment in my address, the ceremonial opening of the 12th Parliament, and I indicated that during colleges, providing tools and equipment to allow for better response to crime and more proactive policing. Whilst at the same time, we're working on the improvement of welfare and conditions of service for our men and women in uniform. My government is honoring its pledge to improve your capabilities and conditions of service. We are providing the Guyana Police Force with the tools that it needs to improve local policing. In our emergency budget for 2020, we allocate for ongoing works on police stations. In the 2021 budget, the force has been allocated $15.3 billion, of which $300 million is to be utilized for expanding the force land and marine fleet. The sum of $830 million was set aside for the construction, rehabilitation, and maintenance of police stations. Force's effort to resuscitate communities policing were boosted with an appropriate provision of $95 million. Community policing has declined between 2015 and 2020. As of March of this year, there was a 20% reduction in community policing groups and a 40% reduction in members. This is a sad state of affairs because successful policing requires the support of communities. Therefore, community policing and community support to the force is critical to ensure success. We have begun to strengthen the force ICT capabilities. In June of this year, I commissioned the training center at Coban John, East Coast Amaro. This initiative was part of a collaborative effort between the Guyana Police Force and the Zara group of companies. We are also continuing to improve the forensic capabilities of the force through boosting the capacity of the forensic lab. More cameras will be provided for the city and other areas in a safe country approach to crime fighting. Our police ranks will be provided with additional body cameras in order to protect them against false and malicious allegations and to promote greater professionalism on the job. It will also be a good check and balance for the way we conduct ourselves. The force has faced some challenges in combating domestic violence, but these are being addressed, including through the recently launched Cop Squad initiative, which will provide training to some 2,000 police ranks in how to deal professionally and promptly with domestic reports. I'm aware of the existing concerns about the incidents of robberies and acts of violence committed against citizens. I want to urge the Guyana Police Force to take condign action to bring an early end to these criminal attacks and assaults. Citizens must be able to walk the streets unmolested and free from fear. Similarly, home invasions must be curbed. Today I am pleased to be able to hand over to the Guyana Police Force 50 new vehicles to help boost its crime fighting efforts. This is yet another tangible expression of my government's support for the work of the force. In addition to the force fleet, this will improve its mobility and response, which was severely handicapped by the lack of serviceable vehicles. 4 years ago, the People's Republic of China handed over a fleet of 56 pickup vehicles, 5 buses, 35 all-terrain vehicles, and 48 motorcycles. When my government assumed office, only 39 of the 140 vehicles were working, with 100 done for repairs, some of which were already unserviceable. This cannot continue. As I speak to you, we are exploring the replacement of the engines for a number of these vehicles that will add to the capacity we have. I want to be frank with you. We support the work of the police force and will provide it with the resources needed. But the force needs to take better care of its transportation equipment. The provision of resources must be accompanied by greater responsibility in their use and care. The public is appalled at the level of misuse and reckless driving of many of the force vehicles. Before I became president, I would often pass by certain mechanic workshops and see police vehicles that were in a condition better suited for a vehicle graveyard. The physical assets of the Guyana Police Force must be better managed, and we will have training programs to manage these assets. We will have to do an assessment of our capability to manage these assets and to find a way that is more reliable, efficient, and less costly vehicles. To the force must not be used for joyrides. No. The assets being provided to the force are to boost its capability, its responsiveness, and people will judge us by the way in which we care for and use these assets. I'm pleased to hand over today this fleet of 50 vehicles. It is testament to my government's commitment to providing the police with the tools it needs to undertake its mandate of crime fighting. I thank the suppliers for the delivery of these vehicles. We know of the challenges in a COVID environment. Very difficult. The force to be responsible in the use and management of this addition to their vehicular fleet and to make them count in the fight against crime. I thank you, and may God bless you, and please continue to stay safe. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Your Excellency. Please have a seat. Our task to say a proper thank you is no other than Clifton Higgins, Deputy Commissioner of Operation Acting. Taking me, invite you to the podium to move your photograph.
Thank you, Master of Ceremonies, Your Excellency, Dr. Mohammed Irfaan Ali, President of the Cooperative Republic of Guyana, Honorable Ministers of Government, Permanent Secretary, Minister of Home Affairs, Commissioner of Police Acting, other distinguished guests, members of the media, all. A quote from Ecclesiastes Chapter 3, verses 1 to 8. For everything there is a season and a time in every purpose under the heaven. It is indeed an honor and privilege to move the vote of thanks on this auspicious occasion. Your Excellency, we thank you for being the catalyst that inspired us, the Guyana Police Force, to strive for excellence in a changing security environment where partnership is paramount. We assure you that we are maximizing the resources allocated to us to achieve the greatest outcome and optimal quality of service to the citizenry. Ensuring public safety and security is paramount. Therefore, the additional fleet of vehicles received and your forecast for additional resources will undoubtedly enhance our prevention and detection rate, timely response, and visibility across the administrative region of the Guyana Police. Your Excellency, we further assure you that management procedures would be enforced and executed at the regional divisional commanders level with foresight from headquarters. To our esteemed Minister of Home Affairs, Minister Rufus Ben MP, we hereby express sincere gratitude for her leadership and unwavering support towards the development of the Guyana Police Force. To our Permanent Secretary, Ms. May Toussaint Thomas Jr., we extend special thanks to you for your commitment and dedicated support in ensuring that the Guyana Police Force have the requisite resources to execute its mandate effectively and efficiently. Deputy Commissioner Administration and team, we express thanks for creating an ambience that is conducive for the success of this event. To the media, we thank you for effectively covering this event and for being our partner. Your Excellency, I would like to re-emphasize and express our commitment towards enhancing the public safety and security via the allocation of additional resources. Thank you all for taking time out from your daily commitment to be at this auspicious occasion, and may God bless you. Finally, a quote from John F. Kennedy states, "As we express our gratitude, we must never forget that the highest appreciation is not to utter words, but to live by them." Thank you, thank you, thank you, and may God bless you all. Traffic officer, I now call on you to ensure that we have a display of these vehicles where we are going to